perhaps an insight into American scenario planning, where they do foresee an escalation despite all the briefing that they would only respond with conventional weapons.
Tell us, what has been the reaction there to Biden's remarks?
Yeah, there's been a lot of briefing this morning, Kathy, that there's been no extra intelligence, no particular change in Russia's posture to bring this remark out all of a sudden, out of the blue. And the reason it's set all sorts of hairs running, of course, is because the word Armageddon suggests an American nuclear response to a Russian nuclear attack. And that's something that all the briefing over the entire course of this conflict has actually been in the other direction, which is that America would never respond with nuclear weapons, even if Putin did launch, say, tactical battlefield weapons, which is the most likely scenario that we're talking about here. So that's why it's particularly disturbing. I should say that...
Did he misspeak then?
Pardon?
Did he misspeak then? Is that the interpretation?
Well, Biden has left the White House. All I can tell you is this, right? So Biden has left the White House this morning, and he's passed up the opportunity to speak to reporters, suggesting that he doesn't want to modify his words. I was about to say that it was at a fundraising event. The reason you're not getting audio on Biden is that the tradition is that it's a more relaxed event that reporters can go to, but they can't record. They in terms of audio recording, they can only write it down. So that's why you're just getting a written report of his words. Having said that, Biden does. This is why it's pretty chilling to me. At these sort of events, Biden tends to reveal a little bit more of what's really on his mind. It was at a fundraising event that he called Trump supporters semi-fascist, for example, going as far as he's gone in attacking them. And it suggests to me that he's obviously privy to all sorts of scenario planning for the eventuality of the use of battlefield weapons. And what I get from this is that the Americans believe that Putin is getting slightly more likely to do that, even though they haven't seen any signs that it's been put into practice, simply because it's going so badly on the ground in Ukraine. Dissent is rising in Russia, and he's running out of options to look like the strong man, to look like the tough guy that he wants to be. And so that's what worries me, is that it is perhaps an insight into American scenario planning, where they do foresee an escalation despite all the briefing that they would only respond with conventional weapons.
Yeah, that is very concerning. I wonder what you made of John Bolton, the former US security advisor to Trump. His remarks on this programme earlier, we're going to hear the full interview at 6, but we just played a little clip there in the news that Putin should be told if he launches nuclear weapons, he'll be taken out. He'll be personally assassinated, I guess. What was your response to that?
Well, first of all, I would say that the best interpretation that we can put on Biden's comment is that he is trying to send a direct message to Putin, because we know that there's a Washington-Moscow hotline. It was set up actually after the Cuban Missile Crisis to send direct urgent messages directly between the leaders of the two countries. The way you could interpret Biden's remarks is that that's not working in deterrence, and that Biden needs to send these hair-raising messages as an attempt at deterrence. And the reason I say that may be what he's doing is what he seems to be doing with China over Taiwan. If you remember, he's got ahead of all the officials in America with his rather bellicose threats to China if they should invade Taiwan. And that's maybe what we're seeing here. It may be brinkmanship. And I hope it is simply brinkmanship, because I can only emphasize that the briefing this morning is that there's no particular evidence that's led to this remark.
David Charter, US editor of The Times, thank you very much for joining us from Washington there.